Good morning, all of you. Yeah, online, please switch on your cameras. Okay, am I audible? Okay, fine. So we shall proceed with our discussion over sleep. How many of you are fond of sleeping? Majority of the population of the world is fond of sleeping. And sleep is considered to be one of the major assets of life. So people often complain if there is a slightest compromise on their sleep time. Okay, please come. So yesterday we were discussing about jet lag. So we saw what happens when one flies from west to east and east to west. Now, like you were asking me, sir, time zones are created by man. Now let me tell you what are time zones and why it is created by man. Say this is your earth rotating around its axis. Okay. Earth is rotating in this direction, west to east, right? So as the earth will rotate, it will expose the sun to different meridians. Suppose this is the sun. So sun will shine vertically over the eastern meridian, and as this earth rotates, it will move on to western meridian. It will keep moving to the meridians west as the earth rotates within 24 hours. So sun will not appear on a given on all the longitudes at the same time. So when the sun is shining over a particular longitude, human beings have drawn a line to denote the time. This is called time zone. And as sun moves from one meridian to another, we make separate time zones. That is why time zone. But it is made by man, definitely. But why? Because sun is not shining vertically over all meridians simultaneously at the same time. Got it? Okay. Now what happens when we travel from east to west? When we travel or fly from east to west in a high-speed plane, which is moving faster than the rotation of Earth. Okay. Our biological clock is maintaining the normal time. That is 25-hour cycle. Our biological clock follows 25-hour cycle because 1 hour is the drift, right? However, the official time has been gained. So when you travel from east to west, you gain time. You're gaining time because sun is yet to arrive in west. Are you getting it? The sun is yet to arrive in west. Okay. So you fly from east in the afternoon, and your biological clock is expecting that when we land up in the west, it will be evening. But well, when we land up in the west, we find it is morning. Why? Because time has been gained. ठीक है, क्योंकि यहां तो सूरज बाद में निकलेगा. ठीक है. So what happens? Our 1 hour drift, जो हमारा 25 आवर का साइकिल है, वो एडजस्ट हो जाता है क्योंकि टाइम यहां पे गेन कर लिया गया है. ठीक है. दिस इज कॉल्ड फेज डिले शिफ्ट. Phase delay shift, because sun will be shining here later on. With delay, we gain time, and as a consequence, we are able to make adjustment of that 1 hour drift. I'll make you write. Don't worry. I'll make you write. But what happens when you travel from west to east? You're losing time. This is called phase advance shift. So in phase advance shift, we do not have the possibility of adjusting that 1 hour drift, that is 25-hour cycle. So adjustment while flying from west to east is more difficult as compared to adjustment from east to west. Okay, so you can write this. The readjustment is easier when flying east to west. The readjustment is easier while flying east to west, while it is difficult while flying from west to east. Flying east to west is known as phase delay shift. Flying east to west is called or known as phase delay shift. Phase delay shifts lengthens our day. Phase delay shift lengthens our day. So when you fly west, it lengthens your day. Okay? It lengthens our day. But flying west to east shortens our day. But flying west to east shortens our day. Which is known as phase advance shift. Which is known as phase advance shift. It shortens our day. Now it is difficult to adjust in phase advance shift because of our tendency to drift towards 25-hour cycle. It is difficult to advance in phase advance shift. It is difficult to adjust in phase advance shift because of our tendency to drift into 25-hour cycle. But flying west allow us to follow the natural drift. But flying west allows us to follow the natural drift. But flying west allow us to follow the natural drift. Okay? Now you understand. There are many people who work in night shift. है ना? तो साइकार्डियन रिदम बायोलॉजिकल क्लॉक तो डिस्टर्ब होगा, क्योंकि नींद तो आपको रात में आनी चाहिए और रात में आप जगे हुए हैं. Therefore, people who work in night shift show better adjustment when every night the working shift is delayed by 1 hour. समझ रहे हैं? जैसे आपका नाइट शिफ्ट में काम है 12 से लेके सुबह 8 बजे तक, मान लो आज आपने 12 से 8 काम किया, कल आपसे 8 से लेके 1 से लेके 9 बजे तक काम कराए और फिर परसों 2 से लेकर के 10 बजे तक काम कराए. ऐसे करके अगर करे तो बेटर एडजस्टमेंट दिखेगा. बिकॉज ऑफ द टेंडेंसी ऑफ शिफ्टिंग 1 आवर, नेचुरल ड्रिफ्ट होगा ना, वो एडजस्ट हो जाएगा. सो यू कैन राइट पीपल वर्किंग इन रोटेटिंग शिफ्ट, people working in rotating shift show better adjustment in phase delay shift, show better adjustment in phase delay shift which means progressively late starting time, which means progressively late starting time each day, which means progressively late starting time each day. So this was the concept of jet lag and the concept of biological clock and circadian rhythm. Now I come to very important topic, that is stages of sleep. See how complex phenomena our sleep is. Stages of sleep. There are 5 stages of sleep. The first 4 stages are known as NREM stage. Okay? And the last one is known as REM stage. NREM stands for non-rapid eye movement stage. REM stands for rapid eye movement stage. REM stage also represents the complex phenomena of sleep paradox. REM stage also represents the complex phenomena of sleep paradox. Sleep paradox is a very confusing incidence, in a sense that although REM is the deepest level of sleep, okay? REM is the deepest level of sleep, yet the EEG activity or the EEG brain waves represent the state of wakefulness. जब आप सबसे गहरी नींद में सोते हैं तो ब्रेन वेव जगी हुई अवस्था का निकलता है, which is known as sleep paradox, which has left the sleep researchers perplexed. Yet we do not know why this is happening, and probably the most justifiable answer is it is because we dream. And in our dreams, we are almost living it. We are acting it out. And because we are acting it out, we are living it, we are experiencing it as if we are awake. That is why the brain wave changes. But it is the deepest level of sleep because it is most difficult to wake up a person from REM state. ठीक है? हम लोग कैसे जानते हैं कि कोई गहरी नींद सो रहा है? How do you know that somebody is sleeping deeply or lightly? It is by how much time it takes to wake him up. If it takes slightest effort to wake somebody, that means he was not sleeping deeply. But if it takes great deal of time and effort to wake up somebody, that means he was sleeping deeply. So you will find people sleep most deeply in REM stage. But the EEG activity is representative of wakefulness when you are awake. That is beta wave. Okay. So now let us see each of these stages. When we are awake, our EEG activity is dominated by beta waves. When we are awake, our EEG activity is dominated by beta waves. Wakefulness, our EEG activity shall be dominated by beta waves. And then begins stage 1. So give the heading stage 1. Now watch what happens in stage 1. It is a brief transitory stage lasting for 5 to 10 minutes. It is a brief transitory stage lasting from 5 to 10 minutes, which is characterized by the following. Slowing down of heart rate, reduction in muscle tension, how to measure reduction in muscle tension? Hold the head of the sleeping person and wait. अगर भारी लगा तो समझो मसल टेंशन रिलैक्स्ड है. अगर मसल टेंशन होगा तो आपको वो वजन नहीं डालेगा आपके हाथ में, ऐसा. ठीक है. जब आप गहरी नींद में सोते हैं तो आपके सर का पूरा वजन तकिए पिलो पे गिरता है, तब समझिए आप एकदम आराम से सो रहे हैं. जब तक आपका मसल टेंस्ड है आप अपने पूरे सर का वजन पिलो पे नहीं डाल पाएंगे. स्टीफनिंग ऑफ नेक मसल्स. आर यू गेटिंग इट? ओके. So reduction in muscle tension, decline in body temperature, and dominance of alpha waves in EEG activity. And dominance of alpha waves in EEG activity. So stage 1 sleep is characterized by alpha waves in EEG. Alpha waves are high frequency waves. High frequency waves. High frequency, low amplitude waves. ठीक है? Alpha waves. And slowly the alpha waves give way to theta waves. And slowly the alpha waves give way to theta waves. Theta waves are waves of lesser frequency. Theta waves are waves with lesser frequency. Alpha waves is responsible for drowsiness, a stage just before we fall completely sleepy. ठीक है? Alpha waves is responsible for making us yawn, drowsy. So stage 1 sleep. You have just closed your eyes and you are in trance. You are in a transition between wakefulness and sleep. So gradually alpha waves will be replaced by theta waves and stage 2 will be dominated by theta waves. Stage 2. Theta waves dominates but they are accompanied by outburst of high frequency waves known as sleep spindles. Known as sleep spindles. ये होता क्या है? Theta waves are low frequency waves and suddenly high frequency, high amplitude waves will appear randomly, which are known as sleep spindles. जब आदमी स्टेज 2 में चला जाता है तो आप देखेंगे कई बार सोता सोता समझ रहे हैं, सोता सोता स्लीप स्पिंडल्स. ठीक है. EEG recordings reveal this kind of behavioral pattern. आपको कैसे पता चलेगा? आप तो सो रहे थे, जो आपको देख रहा था उससे पूछो, वो बताएगा. कुछ लोग आवाज करते हैं, फिर अचानक कुछ बोल पड़ेंगे स्लीप स्पिंडल में. Stage 3 and stage 4. Stage 4 are collectively known as slow wave sleep. Slow wave sleep. Stage 3 and stage 4. Slow wave sleep is a low frequency, high amplitude EEG sleep. Low frequency, high amplitude EEG sleep. The EEG activity is dominated by delta waves, which are the slowest waves, less than 4 CPS. We reach this stage in less than an hour. We reach stage 3 and stage 4, that is slow wave sleep, in less than an hour, usually 30 minutes. Usually within 30 minutes. And we stay in slow wave sleep for 30 minutes. And we remain in slow wave sleep for 30 minutes. In this stage, the heart rate, the pulse rate, body temperature, respiration rate, heart rate, pulse rate, body temperature, respiration rate, and muscle tension all decline. And after this stage, the sleep cycle reverses itself. And after this stage, the sleep cycle reverses itself, probably moving towards lighter stages of sleep. Probably lighter stages, moving towards lighter stages of sleep. For instance, REM stage. For example, rapid eye movement stage, which resembles stage 1, in terms of EEG pattern. In terms of EEG pattern, where beta waves are dominating with alpha waves. Beta waves are dominating with some amount of alpha waves. So we have reversed the sleep cycle. We have moved to lighter sleep. However, Dement and Kleitman found that it is most difficult to wake up the sleeper from REM stage. So the electrooculograph in REM stage records movement of eyeballs. The electrooculograph records movement of eyeballs beneath the closed eyelids. Okay? That is REM stage. Now, this has left the scientist perplexed, which is known as sleep paradox. So, when the brain waves are dominated by beta, the person is almost wakeful. Still, how it is most difficult to wake up the person from this stage?
Sir, can I repeat the what EOG record?
EOG records movement of eyeballs beneath the closed eyelids. Okay, electrooculograph recordings show that the eyeballs are moving beneath the closed eyelids, and it is most difficult to wake up the person from this stage, although the EEG activity is showing up beta waves, which is symbolic of wakefulness. So how is the person not waking up? This has left the scientist perplexed, which is known as sleep paradox. Okay? And probably people spend their time in dreaming in REM stage. Probably it may be related to dreaming. So when people are dreaming, they are vividly visualizing an event as if they are awake, and that may explain the dominance of beta waves. That may explain the dominance of beta waves. Now, according to Dement and Kleitman, out of 1500 awakenings, out of 1500 awakenings from REM, from rapid eye movement stage, out of 1500 awakenings from REM stage, 78% of the subjects reported dreaming. Out of 1500 awakenings from REM stage. So in the sleep lab, you have to see the EOG. The moment you see that there is eye movement, you wake up the person and you ask him, were you dreaming? 78% of them reported they were dreaming. So most of the dream occurs in REM stage. Okay. So out of 1500 awakenings, 78% of the people reported dreaming when they were awakened from REM stage. So REM stage is characterized by rapid eye movement. Number one, rapid eye movement. Number two, high frequency EEG activity like beta waves. And dreaming. ठीक है. It was also found that if people are wakened up, if people are awakened from REM stage, it was also found that when people are awakened from REM stage, and prevented from dreaming, when people were awakened from REM stage and prevented from dreaming, they needed more number of awakening every passing day. They needed more number of awakening every passing day which is known as rebound effect. Rebound effect. Rebound effect reflects that if people do not spend enough time in REM stage, they compensate for it every successive day. If people do not spend enough time in REM stage, they compensate for it every passing day. Now, what you have written, I'll explain you. आपने क्या लिखा है? मान लो, I am the sleep researcher and you are the sleeper. You come to me and I have decided that I will not let you dream. So the moment EOG activity shows eye movement, I wake you up. Every passing day, I need to wake you up more number of times. That means more number of times you get into REM. You are trying to compensate for that disturbance which I have caused previous day. So if I do not let you dream one day, next day you will dream 2 times. That means 2 times you will enter REM, rebound effect. If second day also I disrupt your dream, then you will compensate it by 3 times, rebound effect. Normally, the sleep cycle throughout the night repeats itself 4 times. That means we have 4 dreams every night. We will talk about dreams when we go to dreams. Okay? उसमें भी अगर आपके ड्रीम में कोई डिस्टर्ब कर दे तो अगले दिन आप 5 बार ड्रीम देखेंगे, 6 बार ड्रीम देखेंगे, जितनी बार डिस्टर्बेंस हुआ. दिस इज कॉल्ड रिबाउंड इफेक्ट. ठीक है. नाउ let us see how we move from one stage to another stage. REM, NREM. This is how normally an human being sleeps. In NREM sleep, he will be sideways. In REM stage, ऐसा फैल के सपना देखेगा. ठीक है. लेकिन कोई जरूरी नहीं है कि ऐसा ही हो. हर एक आदमी ऐसा फैल के सोए, ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है. लाइक मैं कभी ऐसा फैल के नहीं सोता. मैं जिधर सोता हूं उधर ही उठता हूं. I am very disciplined person when it comes to sleeping. I don't need too much space to sleep. But my daughter, if she is sleeping in this end of the bed, she will wake up in that end of the bed. ठीक है. और वो घूमती रहेगी, उसका पता नहीं सिर किधर होगा, पैर किधर होगा. मतलब लोगों का अपना अपना हैबिट होता है सोने का. And she has the bad habit of encroaching upon my area. ठीक है. अगर मैं एक बार रात में उठा पानी पीने के लिए, फिर मुझे जगह नहीं मिल रहा है. आई डोंट नो नींद में कैसे पता चल जाता है कि ये स्पेस अभी खाली है. नहीं, मैं आऊंगा ड्रीम पे. जब आऊंगा तब आपको रिबाउंड इफेक्ट के बारे में और बताऊंगा. अभी मैंने आपको यहां पे बता दिया. ठीक है. नाउ ब्रेकअप ऑफ स्लीप इन यंग एडल्ट्स. नहीं, आंख नहीं खोलते हैं. आधा आंख खुला हुआ होता है. आईलिड हमेशा क्लोज होता है. नहीं, फिर वो सोया नहीं है, वो देख रहा है. Somebody in the class said, sir, some children sleep with complete eye open. I said, no, that is not sleeping. They must be awake. Now, let us see the breakup of young adult sleep. We spend 60% time in stage 1 and stage 2. We spend 60% time in stage 1 and stage 2. That is high frequency sleep. ठीक है. अल्फा एंड थीटा स्लीप, इसमें 60% टाइम जाता है. इन थीटा स्लीप, यू रिमेंबर, देयर आर स्लीप स्पिंडल्स. 20% time is given for stage 3 and stage 4. That is slow wave sleep. 20% time is spent in stage 3 and stage 4. That is slow wave sleep. ठीक है. लो फ्रीक्वेंसी हाई एम्पलीट्यूड स्लीप. ठीक है.
सर ब्रेकअप ऑफ द यंग एडल्ट्स एक बार बताइए. वो
ब्रेकअप ऑफ स्लीप इन यंग एडल्ट्स, 60% stage 1 stage 2, 20% stage 3 stage 4, and another 20% in REM. another 20% in REM. ठीक है? And now an activity to be done in the class itself. Draw a line in the center. Write NREM and REM. And compare between them in terms of the following parameters. Compare between them in terms of the following parameters: EEG activity, eye movement, dreaming, difficulty in awakening, that is depth, and percentage of total sleep time. And percentage of total sleep time. Why I'm making you do this activity? Because if the question is compare between REM and NREM, you will remember this. Because you have yourself compared this. Okay? So in exam, you are not supposed to draw a line in between and then write. You have to paraphrase your answer. But बताओ मुझे, मैंने आपको सारे parameters दे दिए, इनको compare करके बताओ. Okay. So tell me in terms of EEG activity. Alpha, theta, and delta waves characterize NREM. REM is represented by beta waves. Okay? In terms of eye movement, no eye movement reported from NREM. REM characterized by eye movement. Okay? Dreaming. Most of the dreaming is reported from REM. NREM is devoid of dreaming. Depth. It is most difficult to wake up a person from REM. ठीक है? परसेंटेज तो पता ही है आपको. ठीक है? Now let us understand the neural basis or physiology of sleep. Now you don't have to be a fine artist to make this kind of diagrams. It's a very basic diagram which I'm making. Neural basis of sleep. The biology of sleep. Brain stem, cerebellum, pons, thalamus, reticular formations. Which is also known as aras. Now, aras is known as activating reticular arousing structure. Activating reticular arousing structure. These 3, 4, sprinklers. That is called aras. They are the most important structures in regulation of sleep. aras, that is activating reticular arousing system, arousing structure. They are the most important structures in regulation of sleep. These fibers fire signals. These fibers fire signals in different regions of thalamus, that is cortex. Aras is known as activating reticular arousing structures. They are the most important structures in regulation of sleep. These fibers fire signals in different regions of thalamus or cortex. Thalamus and cortex are same thing. And cortex is responsible for all your higher order thinking. Thinking, imagination, planning. All your thoughtful behaviors are controlled by cortex. Primitive man did not have cortex. They only had the brain stem. That means they reacted spontaneously to external stimulation. They did not have planfulness or thinking. But as human beings evolved in their brain, what developed in the brain is the cortex. And it was responsible for discovery of computer, aeroplane, सब कुछ thinking किया तभी तो थैलेमस सो रहा है और ये फाइबर क्या कर रहा है, बिजली के झटके दे रहा है उसको जगाने के लिए. ठीक है. So these fibers fire signals in different regions of thalamus or cortex which causes physiological arousal. Which causes physiological arousal. So aras projects into different regions of cortex. Aras projects into different regions of cortex. Aras projects into different regions of cortex. So when we are in sleep, the aras does not fire signals. So you are not physiologically aroused and therefore you are sleeping. But even in your sleep, sometimes the aras will fire signals, which is responsible for sleep spindles in the theta wave sleep and dreaming in NREM. अचानक से सिग्नल फायर कर दिया, आदमी सो रहा है डीपेस्ट लेवल ऑफ स्लीप में, फिर क्या करेगा, कॉर्टेक्स से कहानी बनाएगा और आपको सपना दिखाएगा. कहानी कहां से उठाएगा, रीसेंट घटनाओं से उठाएगा. आर यू गेटिंग इट? जो भी रिसेंट मेमोरी में मौजूद है उसी इंफॉर्मेशन को उठा करके एक कहानी आपको बना के दिखाया गया. इट विल कुक अप अ स्टोरी फ्रॉम द रिसेंट मेमोरी एंड शो यू अ ड्रीम विविडली. ठीक है? एंड देन मोर अबाउट ड्रीम वी विल कम व्हेन वी डिस्कस ड्रीम. ठीक है? मोरुजी in 1964 found that Moruji in 1964 found that cats, billion, whose aras were cut off. Moruji 1964 found that cats whose aras were cut off went for endless sleep. Because they never woke up. No firing of signals. Okay? Apart from aras, there are also some neurotransmitters. Apart from aras, there are also some neurotransmitters, oblique hormones, which play an essential role in sleep. And wake regulation. Sleep and wake regulation. Like acetylcholine, norepinephrine, acetylcholine, norepinephrine, GABA. GABA is present in your limbic system. It controls anxiety. ये anxiety कम करता है. GABA. GABA stands for gamma acetobutyric acid. Acetylcholine, norepinephrine, GABA, सेरोटोनिन, यहां लिखता हूं, सेरोटोनिन एंड डोपामाइन. डोपामाइन इंजेक्शन देखा होगा पेशेंट को देते हुए. व्हेन द पेशेंट इज कोलैप्सिंग, सिंकिंग, डोपामाइन इज इंजेक्टेड. खट से डॉक्टर डोपामाइन देता है तो दोबारा से आदमी, मरतबा आदमी जी उठता है. ठीक है? Therefore, we cannot figure out one single sleep center. Therefore, we cannot figure out one single sleep center because responsibility of sleeping is diffused. Because responsibility of sleeping is diffused. So diffusion of responsibility. Collectively, all of them are responsible for your sleep. You cannot isolate one single center responsible for your sleep. Okay? Now we will look at the very important concept and thing that concern us most. Sleep deprivation. क्या होगा अगर आपको नींद पूरा ना मिले? Sleep deprivation. There are 3 types of sleep deprivation. Complete deprivation, partial deprivation, and selective deprivation. Complete deprivation, partial deprivation, and selective deprivation. ठीक है? Complete deprivation means when you are completely deprived of sleep for one night or more than one night. ठीक है? When you have not slept over several nights, it is called complete deprivation. ठीक है? So, as expected, that complete deprivation of sleep should produce negative effects. As expected, that complete deprivation of sleep should produce negative effects like weariness, थकावट, ठीक है, irritability, poor concentration, attention lapse, and motivational deficit. So it is most likely that if somebody is completely deprived of sleep for more than one day, these will be the symptoms. However, a 17-year-old boy, Randy Gardner, Guinness Book of World Record holder, a 17-year-old boy, Randy Gardner, managed to stay awake for 264 hours. Randy Gardner managed to stay awake for 264 hours. How many days? Huh? Around 11 days. He managed to stay awake for 264 hours. He did show some irritability, memory lapse, and poor concentration. He did show up some irritability, memory lapse, and poor concentration. However, was able to give an entertaining press interview. Without any psychotic symptoms. ठीक है? So this is a myth that complete deprivation of sleep will definitely be accompanied with ill effects. If you are motivated enough, you can prevent all those ill effects. ठीक है? Now, according to lab studies, after about 72 hours of complete deprivation, 72 hours means 3 days. Subjects cannot prevent drifting into micro sleep. Subjects could not prevent drifting into micro sleep. A period of drowsiness in which EEG activity resembles theta waves. ठीक है, in which EEG activity resembles theta waves.
Sir, could you please repeat the sentence?
Yeah,
A period of
after 72 hours of deprivation, sleep deprivation, the subjects could not prevent drifting into micro sleep, which is a period of drowsiness, with EEG activity resembling theta waves. That is stage 1, stage 2 sleep. ठीक है? So I was talking about the 3 hours of waiting time during which I go into micro sleep. ठीक है? So suddenly I will be sitting in my chair and suddenly I will wake up with because of sleep spindle and my heart will be racing. ठीक है? ये sleep, ये माइक्रो स्लीप होता है. अगर 72 घंटे ज्यादा डिप्राइवेशन है तो आप ना चाहते हुए भी, लेकिन हाँ, मैं 72 घंटा नहीं सोया हूं ऐसा नहीं है, लेकिन मैं जैसे ही 3 कॉपीज चेक करता हूं मुझे लगता है कि मैं 72 घंटे से जगा हुआ. कभी करके देखना कॉपी चेक, फिर पता चलेगा. According to psychology, even after 72 hours of sleep deprivation, one can manage to control the physical changes. One can manage to control the physiological changes. One can manage to control the physiological changes. ठीक है? The only thing is there should be willingness. If you have enough willingness, no memory lapse, no compromise on performance, you can still give your best performance even with 72 hours of sleep deprivation. Okay? So, students who think that if I don't sleep a night before the exam, my exam will go out of my control, you are wrong. You still have control within the exam, even with complete deprivation of just 24 hours. ठीक है? तो ये मत सोचिए कि नींद नहीं आएगी तो कुछ याद नहीं रहेगा. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. विलिंगनेस होगा याद रखने का तो सब याद रहेगा. ठीक है? पार्शियल डिप्राइवेशन. As an individual fights and juggles, as an individual fights and juggles through the day-long work, as an individual fights and juggles through the day-long work, they need additional waking hours. They need additional waking hours for family.
The teacher name?
As an individual fights and juggles through day-long work, they need additional waking hours. They need additional waking hours for family, work, school, gym, hospital, party. ठीक है? So we need more hours for waking, which causes partial deprivation of sleep. So sleep time is cut down for this additional time that you require. ठीक है? So after day long work, if you plan to go and retire into your bed, you don't get that freedom because you have to spend time with your family. And then your family will say, take us to the hospital for a checkup, or take us to a party, or there is a parent-teacher meet in the school. Principal has called you, go there. Now, these are additional waking hours which are required and they have to be managed from your sleep time because you cannot cut down time from your work. So this causes partial deprivation. Partial deprivation is common nowadays. सबके साथ हो रहा है partial deprivation. तो जैसे आपके घर में जितने बड़े बुजुर्ग होंगे, you must have seen them, they are very routine and disciplined. They will eat by 7 o'clock and go to bed by 8 o'clock. Why? Because their life has not been so demanding as yours. Right now, 8 o'clock is going back time. And that you are held up in traffic, you reach home by 9 o'clock. And obviously, when you reach home at 9 o'clock, you will take a shower. You will take your meal. You have to spend some time with family. So by the time you go retire on bed, it is 12 o'clock. And then it is expected that you be on time at 8 o'clock in your office again. That means you have to wake up in 6 o'clock. So sleep time to cut gaya. Are you getting it? And this is causing partial deprivation, and it is being very common in today's life because our life has become very fast and competitive nowadays. Okay. So Dement found that the consistent effect of partial deprivation Dement found that consistent effect of partial deprivation of sleep is simply increase in sleepiness. Sleepiness. And this is responsible for more road accidents. And this is responsible for more accidents and attention lapse. More accidents and attention lapse. Okay. So because of partial deprivation, the students, like in my GS classes, it is the student who come and they create the class. Why? Because of partial deprivation, I am not able to pay attention to which button to click. Okay, how to begin the class, which button to click, which choice to opt for. जैसे परसों मुझे अपना नाम याद नहीं आ रहा था कि मैं टीचर का नाम क्या डालूं. ठीक है, लेकिन मेरे क्लास में एक स्टूडेंट है जिसको स्लीप डिप्राइवेशन नहीं है. वो आता है, आपके क्लास में भी होता था ये काम. वो आता है, वो खटाखट कर देता है. अब ऐसा क्या बात है कि उसकी उंगलियां मेरे से तेज चलती है क्या, या मेरे टूथपेस्ट में नमक नहीं है क्या? लेकिन वो क्या करता है, उसको अटेंशन लैप्स नहीं है. He does it very fast. ठीक है. तो आई एम स्लीप डिप्राइव्ड पर्सन. मेरा क्या है कि वही काम मैं 1 मिनट एक्स्ट्रा लेके करूंगा जो कि काम को झट झट कर दे रहा है. इट इज बिकॉज ऑफ स्लीपीनेस. ठीक है. थैंकफुली रोड एक्सीडेंट मेरा नहीं हुआ आज तक. ओके. So this is the effect of partial deprivation. It simply increases your sleepiness. And selective deprivation. It is deprivation from REM sleep. It is deprivation from REM stage of sleep. So when one is deprived of REM sleep, from REM sleep, it is compensated with rebound effect which is spending more time in REM stage, which is spending more time or extra time in REM stage every successive day. So if you are waking up a subject, it is
Compensated. It is compensated from rebound effect. Then
It is compensated by rebound effect, which means spending extra time in REM stage every successive day. Okay. So if you are waking up the subject from lab in REM stage, every successive days, you need to wake him up more number of times. This is called rebound effect. Okay. So this was sleep deprivation. And now coming to sleep disorder, because of which yesterday, one of the great musicians of our country, Bapi Lahiri, died. He died out of sleep apnea. Okay. Now, let us see the sleep disorders. The sleep disorders are as follows. Insomnia, narcolepsy, sleep apnea, nightmares, somnambulism. Okay. So what are these disorders? I will discuss, just give me a minute. Audible? Okay. Insomnia. Insomnia refers to chronic problem in sleep. Chronic problems in sleep. Symptoms are as follows. Chronic problems in sleep. ठीक है? Symptoms are as follows. पहला है difficulty in falling asleep. Difficulty in falling asleep. Symptom number 2, difficulty in staying asleep. Difficulty in falling asleep. And then difficulty in remaining asleep. And early morning awakenings. Third symptom is early morning awakenings. Insomnia is considerably higher in old age. Insomnia is considerably higher in old age. Now here you should know that infants, that is up to the age of 1 year, they spend 16 hours sleeping, and the sleep is undifferentiated. That means there is no exact timing, regular timings for sleeping and awakening. So they will sleep at any time, whether it is night or day, and they will wake up at any time, whether it is night or day. And the mothers and parents have the difficulty that they have to regulate their sleeping time with the sleeping time of the baby. Okay. So I remember, how many times I have to wake up at night to make my daughter go sleep. Okay. So it was a very nice experience. मैंने जितने गाने गाए उस दौरान, it made me it revived my singing abilities. ठीक है. तो हर 1 घंटा आधे घंटे में उठ जाए और फिर मुझे उसको सुलाना पड़े, और सुलाने का एक ही तरीका है गाना गाओ. ठीक है. तो अच्छा, they are so, I would say, lack of gratefulness. When I recite those songs today, she says that ये कौन सा गाना गा रहा है? ठीक है, ये क्या बचपना है, ये क्या बचपना है, इसी गाने पे तुम सोती थी. ठीक है. Now, more than insomnia are the cases of pseudo insomnia. Pseudo insomnia. Pseudo insomnic claim that they have not slept for years. Pseudo insomnics claim that they have not slept for years. One pseudo insomnic claimed that he has not slept for past 10 years. When invited in the sleep lab to spend some nights, he was found snoring blissfully on the 4th night. He was found snoring blissfully on the 4th night. It happens probably because people value their sleep so much that slightest compromise on sleep is misunderstood as complete deprivation of sleep. Like my wife, since I got married to her, she has never said, it has never been that she has not told me कि पूरी रात में जगी रही, मुझे नींद नहीं है. तो मैं अगर कैलेंडर के हिसाब से गिनूं तो मुझे लगता है कि जब से हमारी शादी हुई उनको एक वो सोई नहीं है. मैंने तू तपस्वी हो भाई, तुमको तो रामदेव बाबा को अपना चेला बना लेना चाहिए. क्या कैलिबर है यार. 1-2 दिन कोई बोले तो समझ में आता है. रोज सुबह अगर कोई कह रहा है रात को बिल्कुल नींद नहीं आई, मुझे आराम करना है, तो भाई आप आराम करो ना. आराम करने के लिए नींद को ब्लेम करने का क्या जरूरत है. Now, causes of insomnia. So, more than insomnic, we have pseudo insomnics. Acha, I said that infants sleep for 16 hours, undifferentiated. And as we grow older, the sleep time reduces. And young adult, like you people, need 8 hours of sleep minimum per day. And by the time you come to middle age, like my age, you will not be able to sleep more than 6 hours a day. तो मैं कितना भी स्लीपलेस रिपोर्ट करूं, मुझे आप अगर सोने का कहो तो मैं 6 घंटे से ज्यादा नहीं सो सकता. 6 घंटे के बाद मेरी नींद खुल जाएगी. ठीक है. एंड एज यू ग्रो ओल्डर, it will be difficult for you to remain asleep even for 3 to 4 hours in the night. And that is why elderly people have this difficulty how to spend the night. So they keep waking up, they keep coughing. करेंगे क्या, खांसते रहते हैं. अब कुछ करना तो है ना. नींद नहीं आ रही तो क्या करेगा आदमी. और इसीलिए यंगस्टर्स के पीछे पड़ जाते हैं. इतनी देर तक सो रहे हो, सूरज सर पे चढ़ा है, क्योंकि वो तो जगे हुए हैं बहुत देरी से. बाकी लोगों को सोता हुआ देखना बड़ा बोरिंग होता है. Causes of insomnia. Like this Akshay Kumar, you know his routine. He sleeps at 8 o'clock in the night and he wakes up at 4 o'clock. After doing his exercise, he will go for shoot at 5 o'clock. So if somebody has to shoot a movie with Akshay Kumar, the cameraman, the entire unit has to be ready in the set at 5 o'clock. And the co-stars will also have to be ready. और 5 बजे उनका मीटर डाउन, शाम को 5 बजे कुछ भी हो, he will be back. ठीक है, तो सुबह 5 से शाम को 5 तक जितना उनका बनता है पैसा वो लेके अपना चल देगा. Now, causes of insomnia: high anxiety, depression, and third very common problem that is emerging these days is backache, पीठ का दर्द, backache. Another common problem is asthma. Asthma, ulcer, acidity, ulcer, or use of stimulant drugs before sleep. Use of stimulant drug not only before sleep, even throughout the day, like cocaine. So coffee contains cocaine, right? So caffeine and cocaine are same family. ठीक है, तो आप अगर आप बहुत कॉफी पीते हैं तो भी आपको इंसोम्निया हो सकता है. कोकेन और एफिटामाइन्स. These are psychoactive drugs: cocaine, amphetamines. You can also write coffee, caffeine. ठीक है, अगर बहुत ज्यादा पीते हैं तो आपको इंसोम्निया का प्रॉब्लम हो सकता है. So, see, coffee has both benefit as well as drawbacks. कॉफी में दोनों है, बेनिफिट भी है, ड्रॉबैक भी है. Then comes narcolepsy. Narcolepsy is characterized by sudden and irresistible onset of sleep. Sudden and irresistible onset of sleep during normal waking period. During normal waking period, the patient directly moves from wakefulness to REM sleep. The patient directly moves from wakefulness to REM sleep within seconds. And stay in REM sleep for 10 to 20 minutes. And stay in REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, for 10 to 20 minutes. It is highly risky for drivers. It is highly risky for drivers. सोचो, गाड़ी चलाते चलाते अचानक आरईएम स्टेज में चला गया, 10 से 20 मिनट के लिए चला गया, फिर उसको वापस आने की जरूरत नहीं है. Now, I don't know what happened last year in this NH44. Thankfully, it is wide open. You don't have too much of traffic. It happened with me. Suddenly, I felt that I'm losing my consciousness. So it was because I was a seasoned driver. I immediately, sided my vehicle, put the handbrake, ठीक है, न्यूट्रल करके मैं एकदम सो गया. 10 से 20 मिनट तक मैं सोया रहा. And then a PCR van came and woke me up. ठीक है, एक ही बार हुआ मेरे लाइफ में, लेकिन ऐसा हुआ. ठीक है, थैंकफुली मैं कंट्रोल में था कि मैंने गाड़ी साइड कर ली थी, नहीं तो क्या होता सोचो. It is potentially dangerous for drivers. Causes of the disease is unknown. Causes of the disorder are unknown. But it is believed that it may be caused by genetic predisposition. But it is believed that it may be caused by genetic predisposition. Stimulant drugs like coffee have found to be moderately successful in treatment. Stimulant drugs like coffee has been found to be moderately successful in the treatment. Sleep apnea. Sleep apnea involves frequent reflexive gasping of air. Frequent reflexive gasping of air. Which awakens a person and disrupts his sleep. Which awakens the person and disrupts his sleep. Frequent reflexive gasping of air, which awakens the person, disrupting his sleep. Some patient may get awakened 100 times in a night. Some patients have awakened 100 times in a night. In this disorder, the person stops breathing for 50 to 60 seconds. And resumes breathing reflexively. Severe cases may lead to heart and lung damage. Severe cases may lead to heart and lung damage. It can be treated through drug or surgery. However, treatment outcomes are not encouraging. So the music composer Bapi Lahiri died out of sleep apnea. Okay. Now coming to nightmares. Cause is not known. Most of the sleep disorders are left with unknown causes. Okay. Nightmares. Anxiety arousing dreams leading to awakening, usually from REM stage. Anxiety arousing dreams leading to awakening, usually from REM stage. The patient vividly recalls the dream. The patient vividly recalls the dream or remembers the dream and therefore find difficulty in sleeping again, and therefore find difficulty in sleeping or going back to sleep again. So when you are awakened from a nightmare, you will remember it vividly and those images will not let you sleep again. आंख बंद करते ही वो इमेज दिखेगा. ठीक है? How many of you have nightmares? कैसा नाइटमेयर आता है? क्या देखते हैं? हाँ, कभी कभी देखते हैं. क्या देखते हैं? बुरा सपना देखते हैं. ईवल देखते हैं. One horror movie was made in India. And there was sharp increase in cases of nightmares in Indian population after the release of that movie. It was Jani Dushman. आपको फनी लग रहा है, लेकिन उस जमाने में लोगों को नाइटमेयर आने लगा था उसको देख के. And many people suffered heart attack in the cinema hall itself. ठीक है, वो इतना डरावना मूवी था. तो एनीवेज, आजकल तो फियर अपील ही खत्म हो गया. इतना लोगों ने हॉरर मूवी बना डाला है, हर एंगल से बना डाला है कि अब भूत भूत देख के हंसी आता है. Significant stress in one's life. Significant stress in one's life is related to high frequency of nightmares. Significant stress in one's life is related to high frequency of nightmares. In adults, there is a positive correlation between nightmares and neurotic symptoms. In adults, there is a positive correlation between nightmares and neurotic symptoms. Now, what are neurotic symptoms? They are related to anxiety. We will discuss that when we discuss abnormal psychology. Okay? Although adults have more number of nightmares than children, although adults have more number of nightmares than children.
Sir, can you repeat? In adult, there is a positive correlation between
nightmares and neurotic symptoms. Okay? Adults have more, there is a positive correlation between adults, nightmares and neurotic symptoms. Adults have higher frequency of nightmares as compared to children. However, the frightening dreams are bigger problems for children as compared to adults. However, frightening dreams are bigger problems for children as compared to adults. ठीक है, तो बच्चों में ज्यादा बड़ा प्रॉब्लम होता है as compared to adults. Like I remember when I was a child, I was traveling in a train and the train was crossing Farakka barrage. Farakka barrage is a barrage built across river Ganges where Ganga takes a hairpin bend moving to Bangladesh. The length of that barrage is 2 kilometers. तो ट्रेन जब उसके ऊपर से गुजरता है तो लोग नीचे देखते हैं रिवर गैंगेस को. वो बैरेज है, डैम है. तो डैम में होता क्या है that all the animals, human bodies which are flowing in the river, they accumulate at the gate. So I was just looking down the river और लोग पैसे भी फेंकते हैं गंगा जी में अपना विश मांग के। एनीवेज, तो मैंने देखा वो फ्लडिंग सीजन था, 5-6 बच्चों की बॉडीज ऐसा तैर रही थी, यू नो, एंड दैट सीन व्हेन आई सॉ दैट, उसके बाद यू नो मींस आई वाज नॉट एबल टू स्लीप फॉर सेवरल डेज मुझे नाइटमेयर आता था, वही सीन नजर आता था। तो चिल्ड्रन में खासकर ये डिफिकल्टी होती है, एडल्ट में इतना बड़ा प्रॉब्लम नहीं होता है, दे मैनेज। Persistent nightmares may reflect emotional disturbance. Persistent nightmares may be reflective of emotional disturbance. And it can be treated through counseling. And it can be treated through counseling.
Sir, persistent nightmare may reflective of.
Reflect emotional disturbance. So if you have emotional disturbance in your present life, then you may have nightmare and it can be successfully treated through counseling. Okay. So today I'll conclude here because we have another class here, and tomorrow we will see ahead. We'll talk about somnambulism because I need to know from you that how many of you are somnambulic or have been somnambulic. नींद में उठ के चलने की बीमारी किसको किसको? हाँ, why not? Any kind of stress, anxiety, neurotic symptoms अगर होगा तो nightmare हो सकता है. Okay, so see you tomorrow.
Sir, sometimes it's happen according to Freud, we are in dream we are thinking something, and that is because of our past. So is there no relation between the dream?
Yeah. We will come to Freud also. We will come to all the theories related to dream. Okay?
Yes. Okay.
So tomorrow we'll discuss it.
Okay.